As a board, we evaluate proposals or requests for funding that come from your teachers and administrators in the district for projects or programs that aren't in the school district budget, but would be really tremendous experiences for the students. And we award grants in order to fund those projects. And we raise money from private individuals in our community to do that. And that's how we support the school district, and that's why we exist.
How many of you have heard of global warming before? Yeah, well, just as a reminder, global warming is what happens when heat from the sun gets trapped into our atmosphere.
For the second year in a row, TJ has had a very successful Earth Day celebration under the leadership of our science teacher, Gabrielle Meyer, who's also committed in helping us save the environment. We celebrated by having a picnic lunch, and then each grade level was involved in a project that consisted of beautifying the grounds.
We recycle paper just like you would at home, and we recycle glass and plastics and cans. And we also have a paperless initiative right now, so we're trying really hard not to send home all those notices, paper notices. We try to email parents, email each other. We also, actually last year, a lot of the kids wrote to food services and asked them if they could stop using those styrofoam trays. So now we use recycled paper trays for the food service company.
We use all green products for cleaning in the schools. We recycle paper and cardboard. We recycle computer products, light bulbs, oil from the buses and the vehicles. Anything that can be recycled today, we are attempting to recycle.
I'm using scrap paper at school to make things, and we don't have to drive to the supermarket because we have a garden and we're using the garden.
People need to be aware of their surroundings and what they can do to improve sustainability. You know, you leave a classroom, turn off a light, turn off a computer, put your cans in the recycling bins. It really comes down to awareness.
It gives them the opportunity to come out and see something in its natural habitat, so to speak. It's a very diversified piece of property. You see it's got a stream, it's got several different kinds of trees. It actually has a little drainage area over there so that they can see how water drains down into a stream. The one thing I never got around to is to dedicate this to a person. There was a teacher here named Veronica O'Neill who worked in the building for about 30 years who passed away much too early. And I would like eventually to have a plaque outside and name this the Veronica O'Neill Ecology Center in her honor.
Our building is a new building. It's a LEED certified building, meaning it has lots of environmentally sensitive and energy efficient systems running throughout.
So what you have is a flat roof. This roof is like a big bathtub and it collects water. And this stone is crushed volcanic stone. And we put 12 inches of this stone down and then planted plants here. The plants sucks up the water after it rains and reduces the amount of water that goes off into the street. And another advantage to a green roof is they give off less heat into the building. They have higher R value. Do you know what an R value is? The measure of the building's insulation. So the higher the R value, the more comfortable you are inside your building. On a regular day when the sunlight is at its highest point, where it's pointing into a regular house, these sunshades reflect that heat away from your building and make the building cooler in the summertime. And this is currently the largest biowall in North America. And it's a wall of plants designed to be a giant filter to clean the air in the building itself. Now, most buildings have a big vent on the outside that draw in outside air. But the problem with that is in the wintertime, you're bringing in freezing cold air that you now have to heat up. This building, we're using the interior air of the building and the plants to filter the air so you're not bringing in that cold air. So by doing that, you're reducing the amount of energy that you need to heat and cool your building. So we put skylights in, glass stairs. The light passes through the stairs and is able to get natural sunlight to the wall. So none of our toilets, well, none of our men's toilets use any water to flush them. So it's a regular toilet design with a trap. And what it is when you go to the bathroom, the water sits in the trap, but there's a chemical that drips down into the trap so the smell doesn't come back into the building. And then all the women's and men's toilets, up is 1 liter per flush, and down is 3 liters per flush. So you use more or less water depending on. The sinks have solar panels, and we installed our emergency lights directly above the sinks to keep them charged at all times. These are 0.5 gallons per minute. So they use much less water than a regular sink would use. You notice when you're walking around, there's no light switches in this building. Yeah. You know why that is? Because these sensors detect infrared light and sound. So when it detects a person walk into the building, it turns the lights on in those areas, and it also turns the HVAC system on. In a building where you have the floor coming, all the air coming in from the floor and returning out from the ceiling, it makes sense. Yeah. Versus a regular building, the heat's coming from the ceiling and the return air is going into the ceiling. You're getting a much cleaner, better airflow in a building like this with the air coming through the floor and returning up. And that's the hole right down in the floor. You feel the air getting pumped out? So this goes in there. And this is just a little variator. And you can turn it, you can stop the air or push more air out. And that's all that's for. Our building had one great feature about it, and that was it was next to this giant parking garage. And because we had this big garage, you know, we said, what are we going to put on the roof? So we said, let's put solar panels on. Do you know what solar panels do?
We're going to do this.
That's right. 13,000 square feet or 306 solar panels that are tied to steel. They're pitched at a 5-degree tilt, spaced apart, so that in the wintertime when the snow sits on top of the panels, that's right, it slides off and you can still generate electricity in the wintertime.
We're trying to do what we can to make it better. You at such a young age, getting all this knowledge and committed to a better world and a better earth can only be a sign that it's going to be a good place for people 50 years from now.
And I think that's what attracts people here in the first place, is that ability to walk downtown, to have everything you need close by, and to really get to know and help your neighbors. Looking to the future, I think what the town can do to help people live more sustainably is in the laws that we make to encourage green building, to reduce our use of energy and of water, and to make sure that our policies benefit everybody who lives in the town.
If those items that they feel are important are commensurate with what the silver certification attains, then we will achieve the silver certification. The important thing with this is that everybody is acting in a sustainable manner, that community partnerships are established so that we all have an understanding of what is sustainable and how we can achieve sustainability. And from that, we feel the silver certification will flow.
Give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he will eat for a lifetime. Teach a nation sustainability, and generation upon generation will enjoy the richness of our planet. Sustainability is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development is not a trade-off between business and the environment, but rather the synergy between them. The choices we make today will impact our tomorrow. How we spend our resources today will dictate those available to us tomorrow. Are we content with the future results of today's choices? We the people, this our planet, these our choices.